Hi, Tilley here, and today I'm going to show you how to make a corn and zucchini pie. You know, it's almost summer, the vegetables are coming out of the garden, and I'm going to show you a way to make a delicious side dish. It can even be a vegetarian dish if you are so inclined. But I'm starting with one chopped onion, and I've got it in a little bit of butter, and I'm just pan sauteing that in my Dutch oven because I wanted it to be deeper. But I'm sauteing that, and then to the sauteed onion, I'm going to very simply add 4 cups of thinly sliced zucchini. It turned out to be about 3 small zucchinis for me. If you're doing a larger one, you can do 2. We're going to saute that for a few minutes, and then we're going to also add mushroom slices. So we'll add the mushroom slices in there. And one of the things I want to show you while we are sauteing everything is a really cool way to clean your mushrooms without getting, I'm going to turn that up a little bit, without getting them wet. So what you want to do is, I have a little mushroom brush, which by the way I love, and I know they have them at all the specialty kitchen shops, but you're just going to take and lightly brush your mushroom because you know they sometimes have a little bit of dirt on them, and then take a damp paper towel and just wipe away any dirt that you might have loosened. And then that way you've got a nice clean mushroom that you haven't gotten wet, because we all know that getting mushrooms wet is not a good idea. So lightly brush and then wipe it off with a damp paper towel and you're raring to go. So with that, I'm going to give this a stir. The other thing that is a really cool kitchen utensil is this. I don't know if you have a mandolin, but if you don't, it's worth the investment. They can be super cheap. This is a really inexpensive one that I've got, but you can adjust the slice amount on this just by turning this little tool. So with this recipe, you want them thinly sliced. You just take your little guard here, put your vegetable here, and you just slice it. And it gives even slices every time, as thin as you want. So this is a cool little tool as well. Now, the next thing we're going to add is some fresh corn kernels. And so a couple of cool things to show you there. One is you can start with a fresh corn kernel. Now the supermarkets have them already cleaned for you and already ready to go. Highly recommend that. You can use fresh corn if you want to, but this is a step saver. The other thing is you can use just a can of this super sweet white and yellow corn. I love using this. If you've watched my recipes, you know that I use this a lot. You just drain it and you can use it just like this. You can see it's about the same amount. So this is 2 corn kernels. The other thing I want to show you is something I grew up having. Surely some of you did as well, because you're as old as me. But I remember my mom would cut the kernels off, which by the way, you want to make sure you're not getting into the cob, just because it's tough. But she would take just a kitchen dining knife and scrape the corn like this. And so she would add it to the kernels that she had cut off, and it gives a nice creamy texture. I hope you can see that. And so you just finish scraping all of the cob, you add that into your corn, and she would take and freeze that, the whole thing, and then she would, in the winter when we didn't have corn, she would pull it out, she would melt a little bit of butter in a skillet, add the corn, add a little bit of milk or cream, let that cook down. It is the very best cream corn you've ever had. So you might try that and see what your family thinks of it. So I'm just letting these vegetables go ahead and cook. I'm going to lift it up where you can see it. See, I've got mushrooms, zucchini, onion, sauteing in a little bit of butter. So we want to let those get cooked down a little bit. Now when they're cooked down just a bit, you're going to add the corn. So I'm going to add fresh corn today. And like I said, I've added that little bit of creaminess that comes from scraping the cob. So we'll just add that in. And then what we're going to do to this corn zucchini pie is we're going to put it in a pie dish. So it comes out looking just like pie. Let me show you the dish. We're going to put it right in here. I've sprayed this with some cooking spray, and then you're going to cover it. So you'll cover it with, again, some aluminum foil that you sprayed with cooking spray, and we'll cover that, put it in the oven for about 20 minutes at 375, and let me show you what we do next. So we stir this around, making sure everything's tender, and then to that, we're going to add some seasoning. So this is salt, basil, and oregano. Dried is fine. If you have fresh, you can definitely use it. So we'll add that in. I just had all mine mixed together there already. And then we're going to add some cheese and some egg. So I've taken 4 eggs here and whisked them together. They're beaten. And then we're going to add some cheese. It's about 8 ounces of cheese. You know, one of the little bags of shredded cheese. You can add that. And let's see if we're ready yet. I think we're pretty close to ready. So to this, I'm going to remove it from the heat and add the egg. So you know you don't want the egg to curdle. So we add it in, and then we very quickly stir it so that it doesn't cook. We just want it to blend. And if you're at home and you have a minute, then just let it come off the stove for a second and then add the egg. And then to all of that, we're going to add some cheese. I'm going to add most of it, but I'm going to save a little bit for on top. So when I brown it off in the oven, I'll have a little bit to sprinkle on. So we're just going to stir that together and put it in our pie plate. And let me show you what that looks like. So we've got our pie plate here. Oh, that's so noisy. And we're just going to throw it into the pie plate. Let me show you what it looks like. Make sure I get it stirred. This corn zucchini pie. Again, a great way to use your summer vegetables. Let's just put it in there. Scrape it out a little bit. And one of the things you want to make sure you do is spread it around so that the zucchini is kind of flat on top. It'll just work out better if they are spread around and laying flat. It'll be prettier for one thing. Okay, now we're going to cover it up. We're going to put it in a 375 oven for 20 minutes. Come back here in a second and I'll show you how it turns out. Okay, it's Jan Tilley again, and we are back with our amazingly delicious corn zucchini pie. And I just want to show you how beautiful this is when you put it on your plate. It's just a great side dish to serve. I'm going to serve it tonight with a grilled meat, probably a pork tenderloin. I think that sounds really good. And this is what it looks like. Doesn't that look delicious? You do want to let it sit in the pan for about 15-20 minutes before you try to cut it, just so it will set up nicely. And there you have corn zucchini pie. I hope you enjoy. For this and other recipes just like it, be sure and visit me on Instagram at Health by Jan and on my website, jan@healthbyjan.com.